Former Sergeant Drew Peterson is here for an exclusive interview this morning. Mr. Peterson, good morning. Nice to have you here. I was watching your face as you were watching that report, and the image of your third wife's casket being taken out of the ground by that crane. And now that you know the body has been exhumed and forensic experts are going over it, what's your response to this development?
It's a shame that her rest in peace has to be disturbed for something like this. When they did it once, now they're doing it again.
You think there are no mysterious circumstances surrounding her death? You don't understand why the police are doing this?
I understand exactly why, but I really have no opinion on...
You think it's a wasted effort? They're not going to find anything?
I don't know. If there was anything that happened to her, you know, it should be found out. But
you flew here from Chicago last night, accompanied by one of our producers, who told me that there's quite a scene outside your home right now. There's an enormous media presence there.
For the last 2 weeks.
Right. Give me an example, or just tell me a little bit about what your life has been like for you and for your two young children. You've got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, Lacey and Anthony.
Right, and I have 2 teenage boys also, 13 and 14. I think this is weighing a little harder on them than the 2 young ones. The 2 young ones we can play with, and they pretty much accept their circumstances. But the older boys, it's harder on them. We basically have to sneak them in and out of the house in the morning to go to school, and or out to see friends, or just to engage in their normal school activities. So it's been very hard on them.
You say you can play with the 2 younger ones, the 2-year-old and the 4-year-old, but what have you told them about their mom's disappearance? What do they know? How have you explained why mom isn't home?
Basically, mom's going on a vacation, and every time anything comes on the television, we go ahead and just kind of shuffle them out of the room, or we go to another room to watch the story.
When Stacy went missing on October 28th, police questioned you. They came to your house. There was a search warrant. They've come twice, by the way. You were initially labeled by police as a person of interest, and you're a police officer, or were a police officer. You know all about these labels. You know what this means. Since that time, though, with further investigation, they've decided that you are, in fact, a suspect in this case. Why do you think, in your opinion, they've changed their characterization of you?
I think they've always considered me a suspect. You know, the husband always did it. And I think it's just a title to basically progress their case, or try to progress their case.
So you think the only reason you're considered a suspect right now is because the husband is always considered a suspect?
Pretty much. And I believe I was a suspect from the beginning when they first started talking to me.
Let me go over a couple of things that have raised some eyebrows. Stacy went missing, as I said, on October 28th. According to reports, she had asked you for a divorce just 2 days earlier. Stacy wrote an email to a friend on October 17th, so we're talking about a little more than a week prior to her disappearance, and this is what it said, quote, "As I mature with age, I'm finding that the relationship I'm in is controlling, manipulative, and somewhat abusive. If you could keep me in your prayers, I could use some wisdom, protection, and strength." What do you think she meant by that?
I don't think that's her words. That doesn't sound like a thing that she would say. And that vocabulary is certainly out of line for her. So I think this was fabricated, as a lot of things have been throughout this case, and this is a made-up email.
Stacy's stepsister, Carrie Simmons, was on this program, and let me play you a portion of what she said to Meredith earlier, okay?
It was the end of pretty much every conversation that we had when we were together or spoke on the phone with both of us, that you know, if one day she never answered her phone, or if we couldn't get a hold of her, that you know, we would need to look for her, that something happened.
That we would need to look for her, that something happened. Why do you think Stacy was concerned that something was going to happen to her, and that they would need to look for her?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, then describe the relationship. What was your relationship like with Stacy?
Our entire relationship was, in the beginning, it was very romantic. And after her sister passed away with cancer, she took a serious downslide of her emotions. She lost her faith. She was very religious before this time. And ever since her sister died, we actually had her to a psychiatrist, and she was on medication, mood medication. And every day with her thereafter, after her sister passed away, was basically an emotional roller coaster. Every day.
Emotional for Stacy, or emotional between the two of you? Would you describe your relationship as volatile? Was it ever violent?
I don't believe it was ever violent.
You'd either know it was violent or not violent.
There was a few incidences where, like, Stacy and I would have verbal confrontations, and I would be in her face, and she hated being cornered. And one time she hit me in the head with a frozen steak. And
did you ever hit her?
Never. never.
Never
ever.
raised a hand to her?
Never raised a hand to her. There was an incident where we tried throwing her in a swimming pool at a party, but that was all in jest, and she came up swinging, and she was very angry at that happening, but we were playing. So.
You have said on occasions that Stacy came to you and said she was seeing someone else, that there was another man. And is it fair to say that you believe that Stacy right now is with that other man?
She never told me she was seeing another man. She, well, maybe she did. But I believe she's with somebody else right now.
Well, let me just go back to, did she or did she not say to you, I'm seeing someone else, Drew?
It wasn't put like that. She found somebody else. That was her exact words.
And you believe that she is now not dead, that she has actually run off with another man?
I believe that, yes.
You've described her as, although she had emotional issues, as you've said, she was a good mom.
She's a great mom.
All right? And so how does a good mom of a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old go off with another man and never call the kids to see how they're doing or to tell the kids that she's okay?
I don't know. I can't answer that.
No explanation for that?
I don't have an explanation for that.